Welcome to Voices of Resilience, part of the Iron Sharpening Iron universe, where stories of strength, healing, and hope come to life. I'm your host, Davina Lyons, also known as Mama Lyons, and this space is dedicated to amplifying the voices of those who've turned pain into purpose. Each episode, we dive into real conversations about courage, self-discovery, and rising stronger than ever. So lean in, take a deep breath, and be inspired by the incredible voices of resilience, because every story has the power to heal. Where real stories meet real healing. I'm your host, Davina Lyons, also known as Mama Lyons. Today's guest is a powerful reminder that even when life strips everything away, your voice can still carry you forward. I'm honored to welcome Eternity Echo James, a performing and teaching artist, spoken word poet, author, mystic, and community curator whose work is rooted in love, healing, and fearless expression. After surviving a traumatic car accident and experiencing homelessness for several years, Eternity transformed pain into purpose, using poetry, music, and emotionally safe spaces to help others reconnect with their stories. She's the author of 6 poetry and prose books, including her newest release, Eternal Love Complete, and the creator of Fearless Fridays, a monthly open mic in Phoenix dedicated to courageous self expression. Her personal truth is simple yet powerful. Your story is your power, and it deserves to be heard. Let's welcome Eternity Echo James. Hello, 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 Eternity. There you are. Hey,
That was the most beautiful introduction. Thank you. Can you hear me?
I'm glad you think so. I can. There's a little lag. We all know that's the lovely thing about going live. There's always some technical something. It looks like it caught up. I think we're good.
Okay, good.
Good, good. All right. Now, what were you saying?
Oh, I was just like, that was the most lovely introduction I've ever gotten. So thank you.
Oh, well, you're certainly welcome. You're certainly welcome. I mean, there's so much that one can say about someone like you who is just doing so much, like wonderful stuff. But hey, for those meeting you for the first time, tell us who Eternity Echo James is. And beyond the titles and the accomplishments that I just mentioned, who are you really?
I am a spiritualist who's goofy and loves nature, music, movies, and the arts. That is pretty much me in a nutshell.
That's wonderful. All right, so give us a little bit more background about how you ended up where you are today and what you've been doing with that.
I'm in my 30s now, and I'm in a place of surrender. And I would consider myself a free spirit. So bringing coming here to Phoenix was definitely spirit led, and I've never been here before, and I love it. I started looking for an apartment at the end of September when I finally got my disability approved. And prior to this, I was in the Bay Area, and I was a teaching artist out there. And I retired from that in February because I needed a break to just continue healing and processing everything. But California was always on my heart for many years, and I didn't listen to that gut feeling when I
Okay.
was 19. And so I loved California. I love the West Coast so much more than the East Coast. I'm originally from Boston. I've lived in Boston, Florida, Atlanta, the Bay, and
Okay.
here. And I studied
Wow.
abroad for a semester in Italy in college, which I loved. So I've been
Oh,
around block a little bit.
That's
um,
good. You're
yeah,
well traveled and some
yeah,
experiences.
yeah.
Okay, all right, okay.
I've lived many
That's
lives.
wonderful. Say that last part again.
I said I've lived many lives.
You've lived many lives.
Mhm.
Yes, 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 yes. And I'm sure within those different lives, there's a lot that you can share that can help others. And that's why you're here. I mean, I met you as another author at we have the Authors Alliance that we were a part of together, and at a book signing. And I knew when I met you that there was so much more to you, and I know that you have a heart to help others, and that's really what this is about, especially when you're able to do it based on your own story. And that's what Voices of Resilience is all about. And so I already know you are a resilient person. I can tell. And whatever nuggets you have to share with listeners, that's what I want to share. So many people are going through things and have gone through things, and many have sort of a loss of hope. And when I thought of this segment and doing this, it was really about, I've been through some things too, and I know what it's like on the other side. I know that you may be okay as long as you believe that and you take action steps towards that. So I may feel that way, but I want others to share the same. And the more that I do this, the more that I hear some amazing stories and meet amazing people. And so it's like one of my favorite things to do is to unwrap people like yourself, Eternity. Speaking of which, I love your name, Eternity. What is there a story behind your name?
There is a story. um, I was 21, I think, or 20, and I was at a Martin Luther King event at my alma mater where I got my associate's degree. And there was two poets performing, and I introduced myself afterwards. And he's like, "What do you do?" And I named all the things. I was like, "I sing, I dance." I was like, "I'm a writer." Wasn't calling myself a poet yet, but I was like, "I'm a writer, but I haven't written anything in a year." And you inspired me to really write something again. And I was like, "I dance and act. I love all these things." And he was like, "Your name's Eternity," and he gave me my name then
Really?
that day. So like 15 years
And it
ago.
stuck.
Yep. At first I was like, no. And then like a month later I was like, oh, this is me. This makes sense. And I actually never
Yeah.
liked my birth name, so I made it legal. Yeah. That's how the name
Oh,
came
good for
about.
you.
He was like,
Good
I
for
can tell
you.
you're eternally driven. He said a lot, but I just remember the gist of it was you're eternally driven to go after everything you want, and that's how the name came about.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice. Nice. So you're living up to the name for sure. Definitely. Okay. All right. So I touched on this a little bit in the introduction. Your journey includes losing everything and um, a car accident. Can you share what that was about?
I was living in Atlanta. I was an artist there too, of course, and I was a nanny part time, and I was taking this beautiful little boy from daddy's apartment to mommy's apartment, and someone took a red light and T-boned us. I was making a left-hand turn at the light, and she took the red light, so she hit me at full speed. Us. He's okay. I got all the physical damage, so I had spinal injuries, a concussion, and whiplash, and it took a long time to recover from that, and so I couldn't work and became really depressed and was in a lot of pain. And she didn't have insurance, so I went through my insurance, and my non-motorist insurance coverage wasn't much. It only covered like a couple of months of bills. So my back just got worse, and I just my lease ended in January, which was 2 months after the car accident, November of 2022. And
Mm.
so a nice soul was let me live with them for 6 months while I figured it out till I could get to California, which was the goal. And yeah, I drove across country from Atlanta to California with a messed up back, with a mission. And my fans and people online were literally putting gas in my car the entire way. And I lived out of my
Oh,
car.
that's
Yeah,
good.
I documented everything. I asked for support online, and they showed up. And I lived out of my car for a couple of years in
And that's still
California.
on your YouTube,
It's on my Instagram actually. I
on
didn't
your
start
Insta.
posting more on
Okay.
YouTube till last year, honestly. People have been asking me for years and I didn't do it. So now I have a bunch of shorts on YouTube here and I love it here. But yeah, it's documented on my Instagram and stories. Maybe I'll make a YouTube actually clip of that, of the journey of community now that you said that. But yeah,
Yeah,
the
because as
summer.
people get to know you and they can go back and they can see that backstory. And it was, I didn't realize you, all of the things that you're doing, a lot of what you're doing, you were doing prior to the accident.
Hmm.
And so that, wow. So really, you had to be intrinsically motivated to continue to get back, even though you had the injuries. So that put you in a situation of homelessness. And how did you manage that?
uh, Day by day. A lot of
Hmm.
prayer. I spent a lot of time in nature, of course. Um, I showered every day at the gym and I went for a walk outside, a short walk outside. Some days were easier than others, but my really good friends and my determination to get the life that I envisioned kept me going. And
Hmm.
at this point in my life, I'm prioritized protecting my peace. So I tried to have roommates. That didn't work. And I was like,
That's a big no.
I can't be around people that drain my energy. Like I worked with children. So it's just like when I come home, I want that to be my peace. And my car was my peace. Like that was where I could be
Right,
by myself and not hear anyone talking to me.
right,
So yeah, sometimes I stayed in hotels, but when I couldn't afford it, I was sleeping in my car and
right,
it was hard,
right.
but that was my safe
Well,
place for a while.
I think it's important for people to hear this because, there are people out there right now in the same exact situation. We're all just moments away from something that could happen that can change your trajectory and or your living situation. And we all know that shelter and food, if you want to talk about the hierarchy of need, shelter and food is a very important thing. And it doesn't, you're obviously intelligent, there's a lot going on, you have a lot of talent and ability, and yet you find yourself in a situation because things happen. And sometimes these things happen, and it's, of course, when you're in the midst of it, it's not something that you can see, the silver lining and all that. But certainly there's a certain type of person, my favorite word, a resilient person will find their way out of it, or they'll at least find something within it, because you got to go through it, but there's something within it that builds you and helps you be stronger. It's not about the falling, it's about the getting up. And the getting up part for some people, you mentioned depression. That's real. That's real. And so through that, how did your going through it reshape who you are?
I feel like I became a whole new person, honestly. Like I remember even thinking back then, like I will never be the same ever again. But I still know that I'm gonna be the wife and mother one day and artist that I desire to be. I just remember thinking that to myself. Look, I
Yeah.
couldn't dance like I used to. I couldn't even walk without breathing heavily like I used to. But I just knew there had to be I had to get to the other side of it. I just kind
Okay.
of always try to keep that light on, if that makes sense.
Hmm.
That I'll make it
Yeah,
through.
it does. And you had support. You said you had people that helped you like get across the country, and you had, because you already had sort of a following.
So I post more on Instagram, and I
Mhm.
literally posted like, I need to get to California, and I need you guys' help. And people who had either seen me perform or saw me online were literally sending me money the entire way to get there.
That is so wonderful.
And I think a
It
couple
really
months,
is.
yeah, and a couple months prior before I left Atlanta, I met with, I was looking up different organizations in California that were similar to what I wanted to build, which is a multi-art studio. And I met someone that was in alignment that was hiring. I was an independent contractor, teaching artist that taught poetry and dance. And I was like, this is perfect. I was like, I'm a poet. He saw my website. He liked it. So I interviewed with him and I met with him like maybe like a couple days after I got to California. Found a chiropractor, applied for food stamps, like did all the things,
Yeah.
and yeah,
Yeah.
um,
Did what you needed to do.
yeah.
Yeah. To keep
In
things
California,
moving.
the energy in California hits different than the East Coast. It's very spiritual and a lot lighter. Like I felt lighter as soon as I crossed the line into California, honestly. Physically,
Yeah.
I was in a lot of pain, but internally, I felt the change when I got into California.
Um,
And honestly, if for those who don't know, there's a lot of homeless people in California. It is the richest state
oh, yeah.
in the country, but it has the homeless population is very very high, and there's a lot of people that live out of their cars, and the shelters are packed, and it's very
Right.
unfortunate. And
Yeah,
something
it
that
is. It is. And being an East Coast transplant to the West Coast and changing and shifting the culture. I know I was born in Connecticut. I grew up
okay.
in the East myself.
I
And
always
yeah,
find people.
so
We find each
I
other.
was born and raised in New Haven.
Okay.
But my mom had to leave, and we had to leave because of her own. She was escaping domestic violence, and I was only 11. So in that transition, ending up in Washington State, we went there because my mother's sister was there. Um, it was a culture shock for me. It was a huge culture shock. I had grown up in what I considered a concrete jungle. I had, was not afraid to be out there running around and doing stuff. Looking back on it, I think my mom really saved me in the sense of getting out of there because of I probably wouldn't have been the person I am today if I had stayed, and even family members who have said that. Um, just because I remember being an angry little girl and one that would fight at the drop of a dime and was just out there trying to be, and I look back on that now, and then when we moved to Washington State, it was so I mean, I had to deal with the racial stuff, just the change, because I had been around only people of color, and then I'm thrown into I'm one of five black kids in a whole school. So that's a whole
Mhm.
nother podcast episode. However, um, I learned, I think I really learned how to navigate people and understand as I got older how to represent myself in a more favorable light. And I grew up a little bit, but um, I say all this to say that, whoever you are, whether you're here or there, whoever you are internally, whatever gifts and talents you have, they will surface. Your environment definitely is important. Um, and yeah, the vibe is much more relaxed in the
It's
West, so to speak. Yeah.
for
And now I'm in
sure.
Arizona. That's another story. Uh, and now you're in Arizona, right?
It's more affordable, and I'm still on the
Say
West
that.
Coast.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yes. Yes.
I have friends that have 5 or 6 roommates, and they pay what I pay for my apartment. Like,
Oh
it's a
yeah.
no for me. I don't want to live with
That's
people.
yeah.
The only
Right.
people I
Right.
always said, I'm like, the only people I want to live with moving forward is my future partner, kids, and dog. Like,
Right.
that's it.
Understood. Absolutely understood. Yeah. 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 Yeah.
By the
Yeah.
way, I love that you go by Mama Lions because I call myself Mama E. Like I have my
Oh
spiritual
really?
kids. Yeah, my kids that I used to teach and my mentees that are my babies.
I was named by my students, Mama Lions. Absolutely. Yeah, I had a whole, I taught in the Gila River Indian community, and all of my students called me Mama Lions for a few years. And so that really stuck. And the heart behind it means so much to me. So I embrace that title. Yeah.
And by the way, I
So
want
now
to
some
touch
of
on.
my current students are seeing this, and then they call me Mama Lions now too.
Oh, that's sweet.
All good.
You said you had a culture
Yeah.
shock when you moved, but you were 11 years old, so that was a pivotal time. That was going through adolescence and puberty. Fun.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And the environment was just so much slower for me. I used to talk about how slow people talk even. Like you know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
I
Like
can. Yes, I'm from the East Coast. I'm from Massachusetts, and when I moved to Florida when I was 12, going on 13 to Florida, where it's slow, and they were like, "You talk fast," and I was like, "You talk slow."
Right.
And I could hear
You walk
birds
slow,
chirping
you
for the
talk
first time
slow,
in my
you're
life. I heard birds chirping for the first time in my life, and I was like, oh, like there wasn't like
yeah,
cars going all the time. But now as an
yeah.
adult, I love that. I like quiet areas. I love put me in the woods. Like
Isn't that the
love that.
truth? Yeah. Yeah, you appreciate those things now. I stopped saying the whole thing about people being slow, but I said it up into my 20s, 30s. Like I
Oh
was
really?
like, oh,
It took you that long to adjust?
yeah, it took me a long time. You know why? Because I'm like this. I want
Yeah.
everything right now. Like I'm, and I realize that's not a part of the culture here.
No.
It's I mean, I didn't live in California. I only imagine it's very laid back there too, but even in Washington state, it's just, they're hugging trees there, they're loving life, they're drinking coffee, it's all like just chill. And I was like, why are people so slow? But anyway, I but that's just a part of the differences in the environment. When I think about people on the East Coast now and how they're the fast pace, and even when I traveled on business and I would go to New York, I would, as soon as you're there, you pick back up on it. When you're in that environment. Okay, this feels familiar to me. This feels comfortable to me because I like quick decisions. I like people to, I like people. I don't run from conflict. I run to it, type thing. See,
That's a whole
you
sermon
you
right there.
relate.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I don't run from conflict. Yeah. I don't know. I don't want to say I
Mhm.
run to it, but I get through it.
Run through it.
I get through it. I get through it. I figure out my path to navigate it. I know how to navigate conflict. I like that better.
I like that. How to navigate conflict. I like that. So you describe yourself as a vibrant voice of love, healing, and community, right? When did you realize that your voice was medicine, not just art?
The feedback I get from people, I'm emotional thinking about it. The things that people have told me when they see me perform or they read my book means a lot. That's how I knew. Like
Yeah.
the feedback I received from people young and old, people older than me, like you inspired me to do this and I'm gonna go after what I want. I've met people, I've always asked people if they like their jobs, first of all, when I'm like networking. And one lady was like, I asked her if she liked her current job and she said no. And I said, well, what do you want to do? And she goes, oh my God, no one's ever asked me that in 20 years. She was in her 40s and she hadn't thought about what she wanted to do for 20 years. And I still remember she said she wanted to be a farmer. And I was like, so what's stopping you from being a farmer? And she was like, like she just like processed it, was like, I should go do that. Like, so yeah, the feedback I receive from people about it, I learned that sharing my own personal story allows people to embrace their own and
Mm,
that I'm relatable. Like I speak in layman's terms, so I make it simple, and people are like, "Oh, like if she can do it, I'm gonna do what I want to do." Or they've
mm,
been through something similar that I've been through, and that helps them to like turn on a little light bulb
absolutely.
up there. So yeah.
Hmm. You show them possibility. Yeah, I love that. I love that. So I get it now. That sounds, when you think of medicine, antidote. Yeah, for sure. You're definitely that. Um, Spoken word, poetry, music, mysticism, all live in your work. So, how do creativity and healing intersect for you?
Ooh, creativity is healing for me. Um, Using creative outlets to heal oneself is what I teach people and what I've actively been doing since I can remember.
Hmm.
When things get too heavy in the head, I briefly spoke about my depression. I've actively lived that. Now I know how to manage it. But when something is too heavy in the mind, releasing it on paper is one of the most powerful things you can do. And I've been writing since I was 5, with spelling errors, of course, back then. But
That's
putting
okay.
it out, whatever is weighing you down, though, releasing it on paper or in a painting or in a drawing allows that to not weigh so heavy on the body. And I've just learned how healing that and therapeutic that is. I think in my fourth book, I wrote that writing saved my life, and it really has. I,
Mm,
yeah,
yes.
I think they literally go
Yes,
hand in hand, honestly, creativity and healing. Like even my last therapist was like, "Are you writing?" I'm like, "Yeah, that's how I stay alive." like, like that helps me. It's very, very therapeutic. I started when I was really in a deeper depression in Atlanta. I started doing abstract painting, and that just helped me get the heavy emotions out. Trigger warning for suicide ideation, but that's the space I was in at the time, and creating abstract paintings helped me get through those heavy emotions. So I did that for a little while, and yeah, creativity and healing truly, they literally just go hand in hand for me,
they
honestly.
do. Yeah. Yeah, I didn't pay you to say all of this, but I tell you, you can make the best commercial for my Right to Rise manuscript planner. That's the book that I was when we were together in the book
Mhm.
signing. I have a planner that helps people to actually organize their thoughts, so that they can share. Yeah, because I don't know. I tell the story all the time, but real quickly, I was in an anthology for women telling about some of my childhood trauma and things that I experienced. And when the book was published, there were 19 women. When the book was published, it was called The Lemonade Stand. I got feedback from people that said, well, there's a whole lot of lemons, but not enough lemonade. And so, right? And so,
I'm like,
so
oh,
that, yeah, like that became a thing for me in life that when I tell my story, I am very now aware of it's not just enough to share my story, but I need to share how I overcame my story, you know? And that's what I would I think when you write and you're doing your and I've heard your poetry, I've read some of you're doing that. You're helping people overcome through your messages. That's a skill. That's something that has to be, people need to know. Because listen, you can run across people all the time that want to tell how horrible their life is or has been. Um, my thoughts when I'm listening to people, especially if I'm meeting them for the first time, if it's not, well, what are you going to do about it? Is what did you do? You know, where are you today? What do you think so through my own framework, I've come up with a way to help people as you're sitting down and planning to write, to do that. um, and I think what you've done is you have proven that writing is healing, very healing and cathartic, because you've produced already how many books again? Five?
six, six.
Six. You
Yeah.
did your latest one is your sixth one.
Hmm.
All right. Yeah. And we will share for listeners, we will make sure we share all of the contact, so that people can definitely connect. And I want them to buy your books. I want them to share this episode, get the word out there. Eternity Echo James. Yeah, six books. Eternal Love Complete. That's your most recent book. All right.
Yes, it's an
What is
ebook.
that about? It's an ebook. Okay.
It's about my journey of healing from a karmic relationship and falling in love with someone else in the past and falling in love with myself. And it has some 90s humor in there about my journey. Um, yeah, it's about falling in love, falling out of love, and falling in love with myself and embracing all of who I am and the
Nice.
experiences that I've had in relationships. There's a piece dedicated to my son in there. He's my chosen son. And yeah, it's just about encompassing all my loving relationships and who I am now in this journey. Yeah.
Yes, because love isn't just romantic relationships, right? It's
Correct.
it's it's family, it's familial, it's everything, right? Yeah, that's
I
cool. So
think
I'm
life is
definitely
all
looking
about
forward to getting
relationships.
that.
So I talk a lot about relationships in my books, like, and the importance of having a healthy relationship. And yeah, like I said, there's some 90s humor in there about when I stopped caring about someone.
Okay, okay. I want to see that. I want to read that. Um, your personal motto is your story is your power, and love out loud. And love out loud is also the title of one of your books, right?
Correct.
Uh huh.
In my
Yeah.
podcast.
Okay. What does loving out loud look like? What is that? What is that? In everyday life, what does that look like?
That looks like being your most authentic self in interactions throughout the day. That means loving yourself out loud, like taking a shower. Getting out of bed sometimes is the hardest thing to do for a lot of us. So, getting out of bed and brushing your teeth, taking a shower, making yourself a meal, those are, I consider that loving out loud. Taking the time to journal is loving out loud. Saying hello to my
Mm,
neighbor and checking on how he's doing, that's loving out loud to me, sincerely. A lot of times people say, "How are you?" to be nice. I've said in the past couple of years, I'm not nice anymore. I'm kind. Because nice is fake to me. Like, because a lot of people ask, "How
mm,
are you?" but they're actually not listening to the response. They're just saying it to be nice. It's a greeting. How are you? Oh, fine. How are you? But
I
I'm
like that.
neurodivergent. I'm neurodivergent, so I'll actually tell you how I am. We'll tell you how we are, and sometimes you can see that no one, they're not listening to the response. They don't really actually care. Like, so that's why I say I'm kind and I'm not nice, because I really do care for people, the well-being of others. But yeah, loving out loud means showing love to your neighbor out loud, however, like, and seeing how that person needs to be loved, especially in your intimate relationship. So in your if you're in a relationship or in your friendships and family, how are you loving them? Are you loving them how they need to be loved or how you think they need to be loved? So listening to
Mm,
people and seeing what they need to feel loved, because some people, they'll say it, but does that person feel loved by you? So loving out loud means actually listening and putting into action what someone in your life needs to feel loved is loving out loud for me. And I say your story is your power because no one can tell the story better than the person who's lived it. That's what I believe. So that's kind of
mm.
my mission statement.
I want to put a pin in everything you just said. You just taught me something. Um, the difference between niceness and kindness. I've never heard that. In 60 years, I've never heard that. So thank you for that, because just that one statement for me is life changing, because as I move forward, I can't unhear what you've just said. And it's going to help guide me better in how I relate to people, because there is definitely a difference. And sometimes we are nice out of obligation, maybe, or we think we're right. And for someone like myself who believes in authenticity, that is that's a powerful bomb you just dropped. For real. Um and anybody listening, if you really think about it, how often are you nice versus kind? That's powerful. Wow, 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 wow. And then all of the stuff about loving out loud. I mean, I love that you talk about self-love. Like really you're talking about what you do for yourself as well. And I think so many people don't care for themselves as much as they do for others. Once again, out of some obligation to be a certain way because it's expected, maybe. But man, so the order that I heard you say that in too, you said you was, and correct me if I'm wrong, in love and then out and then in love with yourself or something, not maybe
Yeah.
something like
Yeah.
that. So like there
I
was a
fell in love.
pattern.
I fell out of love and I fell in love with myself again. And I created a new me. I learned the word karmic a few years ago when I was in Atlanta. And we meet people sometimes to learn how to love ourselves, to challenge us.
Mm.
I think, some people are meant for a season. And sometimes we try to make seasonal people permanent, and that doesn't work. And I'm very
Oh my
guilty
God,
of that.
eternity. You're like, there's bombs. Sometimes we try to make seasonal people
People,
permanent. I'm so glad this is being captured. Like, I see why people want to hear you speak. I mean, so true, so
right?
true.
And like when
I'm
you meet
sorry, and I
someone who
hope I
like,
didn't. I just,
no, that's okay. No, I love the dialogue.
girl.
Sometimes, yeah, when you meet someone you connect with, you're like, you don't want to let them go. And we get, what's the word I'm looking for? Possessive of people. And we don't own people. You just have to. enjoy the journey while they're there and make the best of it. And then sometimes people are no longer in alignment with you and you have to let them go. And I had to learn that the hard way. I grew up in an environment where I didn't feel loved and I felt neglected a lot growing up. So my intimate relationships as an adult are very, very important to me. And I'm in a, like I said earlier, I think I said I'm in a space of surrender. So I have to allow myself to let people go when it's their time to go. I think
Mm,
I'm doing a better job at that as I go through more things.
mm. Wow. Yeah, I mean, that's hitting so close to home that I'm sitting here going, wow, I I get it. I get it. I mean, you're teaching me even in this moment about that. I was recently having a conversation with someone where I had identified the same similar thing in that we have a joke at my job actually about me one time in a staff meeting because I'm a middle school teacher full time. Um, about I like recognition. I like, and so at work I always tell them, I want that at a girl, and so that's kind of the joke.
Mhm.
Because a lot of people will say, "Oh no, I don't want the attention." Don't. And I used to kind of judge people when they were like that. Like, what's wrong with you? Why don't you want attention? Why wouldn't you want attention? And I realize and respect that people are all different, but um I was talking to someone and I said, I think I've identified that because I just didn't get enough atta girls from my mom. I didn't get enough growing up. I was always trying to impress her in everything I did in school, right? You
Hmm.
get it.
I was the same. I didn't get the attention that I wanted as a child, so as an adult, oh, I'm going to take it all. But
Yes.
it took time for me to
And
embrace that, like because there was points in my life where I hated hearing the sound of my own voice. It took time to learn how to love the sound of my own voice and appreciate and accept the recognition that I was getting
mm,
and receive it in love.
yeah, yeah.
Earlier you said, earlier you said something about loving. Some people love others, but they don't really love themselves. I'm paraphrasing. And I actually met
Yes.
someone recently who said that. He'll pour into all these people. He goes to the same bar, the same cafe, and he'll give them great tips and gives them. But he literally admitted to the fact that he doesn't love himself. And I was like, I was like, I recently saw a video of Maya Angelou saying that I don't trust people that say they love me, but they don't love themselves. And
Mm,
I mentioned that to him, and he was like, yeah, good for her. But it was like, and I was like,
yeah.
but I lovingly said, I looked him in his eye and I was like, I hope you get to a space that you learn to love yourself. Because that is, I think, one of the most powerful things you ever do in this life. But I just
Yeah.
remember him being like, he's okay with that. He's okay with the space that he is in his life and who he is. But I just think it was so sad. But I also appreciate his
Yeah.
honesty and authenticity, though, in that of where he is.
Or maybe he just hasn't seen what it's like to love himself yet, to actually
I don't
understand
think he
what.
has.
Right. So he doesn't know. It's like he can't miss something that he doesn't have or has not experienced maybe.
Right.
Um I think one of the greatest realizations I had, I was married for many years, and in that relationship it was, there were things that did not go well, obviously, but I think the day I realized that when people are able to self-destruct, and I watched him self-destruct, he doesn't love himself. So how can you expect someone to give to you what they don't have for themselves? And we hear a lot now the whole analogy or metaphor of the cup. If your cup is empty, you have nothing to pour into someone else, right? Well, that's kind of how, I look at it. I look at it as if you cannot express love for yourself or feel good about yourself or any of those things, are you really doing it for someone else? Because, it doesn't it's again, it's the niceness and the kindness.
It's catch 22 with
Go
that
ahead.
because I've been in a
Yeah.
space where I don't think I fully love myself, but the love I wanted from other people, I gave outwards. If that made sense.
Okay.
I poured into a lot of people to the point where I did lose myself. So I think, and I think a lot of people who have been through trauma, a lot of childhood trauma, we don't, a lot of us, because the saying heal, um, what's the saying? Hurt people, but sometimes hurt
Mm-hmm.
people heal, sometimes hurt people heal people. And I've been in that space. I have healed
Mm-hmm.
people, but I was hurting and they didn't even know. Like, so there's a lot of,
Mm.
there's people who live with a lot of hurt, but we don't want other people to feel that hurt. So we'll pour into you so you don't feel the pain that we feel. And
Mm.
something,
The two can exist together.
yeah,
The two can. Someone in the comments says some people don't know how to love themselves.
that part.
Don't know how. Hmm. Hmm.
I agree. Some
Yeah.
people don't.
Yeah.
We're not, a lot of us aren't
And
taught
what
it.
does it
You have to learn
mean?
it. I think
What
it has to be taught.
the next question is, what does it mean to love yourself? What does that really mean?
That means to choose you over anybody else. That means
Mm.
doing the things that make you happy, even if it makes other people unhappy. That's what I think that means.
Mm. Okay. Definitely can see that aspect of it. I think that the way I've thought of it as I've evolved is that it is definitely about choices that we make, right? And so for me, I had to really break it down for myself and say, every morning when I wake up, I have two choices, life or death. And that sounds so bleak, but
No, it's
if
real.
I think in terms of a continuum and I'm right there in the middle, I can go left or I can go right. The choices I make all lend to whether or not I move on that scale, left or right. If I make positive choices, that to me is life. If
Mm,
I avoid toxicity, that's life. If I'm kind, that's life. All those things are life to me.
right.
But then the other side of it, is I can make choices that can cut people down, be negative, bad karma. I can do so many things that to me lend towards death. It's dying inside.
Right. You
So
know,
yeah,
I think loving yourself also has to, most importantly, is embracing the dark and the light that you have within you. A lot of times we avoid the darkness. Like, but you have to sit in it for the light to come back on. You have
I
to embrace
like
both
that.
sides.
Is that about being honest with yourself?
Yes. A lot of people lie to themselves. Like a lot of
I
people say,
have in
I'm
the past.
okay when they're really not okay. And that's not going to help you be okay. I don't believe in that. I don't believe in toxic positivity. I believe it's okay to not be okay because that's the only way you're really going to get through it if you acknowledge the fact that you're not okay in a moment
Yeah,
to
your
really
voice is
face that.
faded out a little bit. Can you
Oh,
repeat
sorry.
that part? You don't believe in toxic what?
Positivity, toxic
Oh,
positivity.
toxic positivity. Positivity.
I think like
Absolutely.
sometimes if you say you're okay and you're really not okay, I don't think that's actually going to help you to get through a difficult space in your life. I think it's really important to honor if you're in a space where you're not okay, because that's the only way you really get through it is if you actually sit in the darkness and face it. Acknowledge that
Another
it's
very
real,
powerful statement. So true.
right?
So true.
That's the only way I
Um,
was able to get through mine. I had to sit in it. I had to
you
cry.
had
I
to.
had to sit with myself. And it wasn't until I was 30 that I realized something that I'd went through my entire life with my mother. I didn't even realize it until I was away from her. Like at 30 years old at the time and like, oh, I don't like that. Like that makes me feel like crap. Like and processing that and letting those tears and that pain out of my body. And
and
I
and
find
giving people permission to do that. That is you brought that up. That's really really powerful. I'm hoping that you join us on the next Ladies Diary because we're going to be talking about love in that way. It's February, Valentine's month. So we're going to talk about love. I believe we have some correspondence that's alluding to that. So I would love for you to be one of the guests. I'm sure my co-host Boss B would agree. You are absolutely perfect for that episode. But anyway, I digress.
Thank
So
you.
I just want to plant that seed right now. Please join us for the ladies' diary. Um, I'm looking at comment questions. What does it mean to love yourself? We talked about that. Some people are confused between being in love with self and being conceited.
Ooh, I'm conceited. I got a reason. So I just thought of that
Oh, that's
song.
my girl. I know. I know the song. I'm not saying that
I
name though
think it's
right
okay.
now.
I
There's
think it's
too
okay
much
to have a
going
big
on
head
there.
about yourself. I don't know. I think if you've lived your whole
Yeah.
life not loving yourself, I think it's okay to have a big head about yourself. I don't. I think you have to look in
So
the mirror.
conceit is not a bad thing.
I think you have to be able to get to space, look in the mirror, and speak affirmations over your life. Say the things that you would tell your kid or your cousin or your best friend. Sometimes we talk to ourselves in a way that we would never talk to one of our closest friends. That is the problem. And so with self love, I literally used to do this. I would have like post-it notes on my mirror and write things to myself. So the way you speak to yourself is also very crucial.
Right.
I was bullied a lot at home and at school, and so I started saying those things about myself and believing them. And so you have to, if you've ever been bullied or traumatized, you have to change your language with self and start
Mm.
speaking to yourself
Mhm.
in positive ways and speaking over what you want in your life every
Mhm.
day until you believe it. Say
Mm.
it until you believe it.
Eternity, you are wise beyond your years. I've never heard conceit spun in such a positive way. I
I don't think
love
I
it.
ever did it before.
Conceit and positive affirmations are in the same space. I love that. Uh, because again, it's about other people telling us who and what we are as opposed to us owning who and what we are. Right?
Exactly.
I love
You
that.
in the
It's
process of
positive.
learning how to love yourself, you have to tune out the noise of other people.
So, do you think like and love are synonymous, or do you think liking yourself first and then loving yourself?
I think those are two different things, but I think yeah, I think you have to get to a space where you like yourself first, because a lot of
And
people
I
can't
say
even
that
sit with
from a place,
themselves.
I also, I mean, I'm not real keen on knowing exactly what happened with your mom, but with my mom, she always gave me unfavorable feedback. That's just how she was. Like, I don't. She didn't like the locks. I mean, there's just certain things she didn't like. one of the one of the things my mom said to me prior to passing away, maybe within that last year, is that she didn't understand why at my age I would want to wear long hair. That older women don't have long hair. I mean, she had these things in her head that she believed it's okay. And I,
So many
but
generational things that people believe and put it on their kids.
yeah, but the things that she would say, I would sometimes it would be, I had to catch myself because it'd be hurtful. Like, because remember, I want to please her, so I wanted her to think I like your hair or whatever. But she didn't. So it was like okay, but the liking myself piece of it was I got in the mirror one day after she said that because it kept haunting me that she didn't like the locks. She's from that generation where this is just too much, too ethnic, too whatever. I'm too old for this, whatever. But I said when I looked at myself, I like how I look. I like how I feel. So that's the beginning of it, right?
Hmm.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
that's the
I
beginning.
My mother was she's still alive, but was I say was because we're in no contact, but she was
Right.
emotionally and verbally abusive. She would say hurtful things and be like, I can say that because I'm your mom. And I'm like, that's exactly why you shouldn't say that to me. Like, girl.
Isn't that the
Like,
truth? Yeah.
but I don't even know if I can say she loves herself as well. I don't think she ever, I know that for a fact that my parents never healed from the trauma they went through. And so who'd they bleed
Right.
on? their kin. Like,
Right.
so
Right.
yeah,
Yeah.
talking to yourself,
That
changing your language.
totally relate.
I'm not with this person anymore, but my ex-hubby taught me that I was doing that, that I was talking to myself in a negative way. He'd be like, why are you talking about yourself like that? And I was like, and it took me some time with therapy and processing that it was because people did it to me first. So I did it to myself first, and kind of I don't know, it was just like a psychological thing, I guess.
You mimic what you're, well, because we go to what we're familiar with. That's
Right.
why we pick sort of the same people. Why we keep, even, and if you think about a lot of the relationships that people are in, well, if you look at their mate, it's similar to a parent,
Correct.
right? You know,
And I've already
and
dated my
why,
dad. Never again.
yeah, not dating your dad ever.
Terrible. Like, I was like, oh, he just
Listen,
like my daddy. No, thank you.
you and me
Like,
both. But
and I've
that's all
asked,
you
I
know.
remember,
You
I even
gravitate.
remember my parents were still together. I asked her, I said, do you want me to marry a man like my father? And she said, no. And then I was like, so why would you stay married to him? And I just let her marinate on that. And I walked away. I'm like, people stay
'Cause-
for comfort or for whatever reason, but I have no desire to be in a relationship where I am unhappy for the rest of my life. No, thank you. I don't want to
right.
share space with someone that I hate or, yeah, no. Hate is a very, very strong word. What did Martin Luther King say? That hate is too much of a burden to carry.
Yes, yes, yes. But isn't that in and of itself, that realization, a great example of loving yourself, liking and
Yes.
loving yourself?
Yeah.
When you come to those realizations, that's where you know, okay, and for people listening, listen, none of it is easy. You have to
No,
do
not
the
at all.
work, right?
I promise. I'd be telling people, I'm like, it's not easy. Like, how many years did you take to get over it? Okay, that's just my story, though. I can't tell you it's going to take you 4 years to get over this. It's just a
Right,
process that you have to honor in your journey, day by
right.
day, step by step.
Absolutely. And we all have different levels of intensity when we're in relationships. And people joke all the time about Scorpios. I'm a Scorpio. We're
Girl.
intense people.
I'm a Capricorn. We're also very,
Yes.
I've been told I'm bossy, and I'm like, that's why I don't
Yeah.
like working for people. Like, I don't like people telling me what to do. Like,
Well, I mean, but those archetypes are true. We really are. I mean, it's patterns, but it typically does ring true, right? And so that fits into the equation of knowing thyself, right? Because that's another part of it. Loving yourself, liking yourself, knowing
knowing
yourself,
that yourself.
right?
Yeah,
Because the decisions you make, a lot of times, I've had to stop myself from repeating bad patterns. Just in knowing, okay, now if you do this, this is going to happen because this is who you are. You ever have that
right.
self-talk?
Yeah. I literally, I feel like I just completed a cycle that I was on for like 15 years of doing the same thing and wondering why I wasn't getting different results. Um, I think a lot of things are generational, and I think a lot of things we have to. I honestly wouldn't have healed from a lot of things I've been through if I didn't move away from the people I grew up around.
Mm,
And so when we talked about our environments, and they say the five people that you spend the most time with is who you're going to be like. So who you with is who you are.
who you hanging with?
Who you hanging with? Who's
Who's your
around
people?
you?
Who's your tribe? Who's
Yeah.
your community?
And if you don't have one, fine, you'll find them. When you start to sit with yourself, the universe will bring you who you need. My
I
favorite
was going to
mentor,
say,
and
you attract it.
yeah,
Absolutely. I'm in that season now, really understanding that um, you attract the relationship you want. You attract. If you're not attracting, you're working too hard trying to create or manipulate, and that's not something that
right.
I want to
But
do.
sometimes healed people attract unhealed people because they want your energy, and you have to be mindful of. I call them energy
Mm,
vampires. And I've experienced that where you think it's love, but they're actually just sucking all your energy. You have to also be mindful of how you feel around people. If you feel
mhm.
drained or angry or sad around someone, maybe you need to spend less time with them. Like, but if you feel joy and you feel motivated to go after what you want, spend more time with those people.
Right, right, right. And what you the point you're making is good. I love talking to you, by the way. Eternity, I just love talking to you.
It's
On
been a
camera,
pleasure
off
talking to
camera,
you.
whatever. You are my people. I get it. Because this conversation is so enlightening to me. And I hope people are listening, really listening to what's being said, not just to understand, but to understand. There's just so much power in what's being stated here. And I think when we operate in a silo, when we're on our own and we're left to our own vices, and we can tell ourselves a lot of things. Um, but the truth is something we need to surface. We need to be honest with ourselves, right? So I'm looking to see what else in the comment
I was like, yeah, was
here.
there ever
Some
another
people,
comment?
yeah, some people feel they're obligated to love, but really don't like who they are.
Mm,
Oh,
okay. That's okay. You can always
yeah,
change. Mm,
yeah,
like the seasons.
yeah. Take the
We're
steps.
meant to evolve and, take the necessary steps to get to a place where you like yourself.
Hmm.
And the first
Hmm.
step is admitting that you don't. So that's good. And now what can I do to
Now
get to a
what?
space where I start liking who I'm becoming?
Mm.
What's the
That's
next
one of
step?
my new favorite words is becoming. Um, we
Did
were
you read Michelle
talking.
Obama's book, by the way? Because it's really
I
good.
did, of course.
Okay.
Yes, both books. Yes, for sure. Um, yeah, and I think that's when I first noticed the word. But lately, as of 2026, just in January alone, we were talking in a staff meeting at work also about. I think our first New Year staff meeting was about resolutions. I don't like that word anymore. It's
Me
like I'm
neither.
not doing that. So I said I'm just focused on becoming. I'm not trying to um, put these obstacles or milestones in front of me that I must hurdle over. I am just enjoying the journey and being very aware,
I love that for
right,
you.
of what the universe is telling me. So very good. I like
And a
that.
lot of people are not aware, self aware. That takes time, I
Right.
think.
Yeah. Yeah. Because that takes work, doesn't it? Yeah. It takes work to be self-aware. Um, I don't want to miss out on sharing some things. So you host Fearless Fridays, which is an open mic in Phoenix. Tell us about that because there's some local people that might want to come check you out.
Yeah, first Fridays every month, I will be at Downside Up. It's a lounge that is non-alcoholic, so there's mocktails and kava drinks that she creates. Amazing, by the way, so good. And it's just a beautiful vibe. There's appetizers, and you can, if you're a singer or a comedian or a poet, you are welcome to share whatever's on your heart for 4 minutes. And yeah, it's just an emotionally safe space for people to be themselves and share whatever is on their heart with a crowd,
What's
with
the
a
name of the venue again?
downside up.
Downside Up. Okay.
Yep, if you put
Remember
Fearless
that.
Fridays on Eventbrite, the address is there. It's a beautiful, beautiful space.
Okay.
If you look at my Instagram, Eternity Echo James, there's a little clip of the last show. So it's
Oh, nice.
I'm happy to be partnered with them. It's two women, they're awesome. Two Black women. I love it. A mother and daughter duo that own the space. And yeah,
Oh,
it's just
great.
good
Well, I'm
vibes.
personally going to check it out for sure. Also, I know your link tree. You have, well, I don't know if we. I think we'll have a link to your link tree, but you have a lot of different clips or connections there as well, right?
Yes, the
Like
link for the show
videos
is
and
there in my link tree, and my website is there with my books and everything. Um,
perfect.
I offer private readings for people that just want to sit and talk about your spiritual journey. Journal meditation is powerful, as we talked about, the power of writing.
Yeah.
So I help people with that. And yeah, my link tree has everything. It has my interviews from when I was in Atlanta and here
Yeah.
on the West Coast. And yeah, everything you need to know about me is there.
Good stuff. That is so good. That is so good. All right. And what else? I don't want to forget anything. Um, for someone listening right now who feels broken, unseen, or afraid to share their story, what would you gently remind them of?
You are enough just the way you are. You are more than enough. And if no one has told you, you are loved, I
Mm,
see you, I am with you on the journey, and I love you just the way that you are.
mhm,
That is something I wish that someone told me when I was a kid, that you're enough. So if you
mm.
feel broken, know that I've been there and I know what that feels like. And I acknowledge that. And I just want you to know that you are enough and you are more than enough.
I love that. You work with young people. You mentioned that earlier.
I
You
did.
work with young people. You
Yeah.
did.
I taught
I
poetry
think
from elementary school and high schoolers and young adults.
that's wonderful. Yeah, please keep doing that. I
I'm
mean,
actually offering
wow.
a class now during the week for adults and high schoolers at the Phoenix Center for the Arts. Twice a week. I'm offering it for the spring semester. So if you go on the Phoenix Center for Arts website, there's a couple of spots left available for the upcoming class if anyone, for adults and high schoolers. So yeah.
Oh, wonderful. Okay. Well, you're not you're going to be around eternity. You are going to be you'll be back. And again, we are doing the Ladies Diary the first Wednesday of every month. This coming first Wednesday, I would really love for you to come back and be a part of that. So anyone listening now, if you want to hear more of eternity, please tune into that episode as well. And we always post all of our episodes so on several platforms. You're not just streaming right now on my Facebook, LinkedIn, and YouTube, but you're also live streaming on the entire iron sharpening iron universe, which reaches out. There's so yeah. And our producer, Boss B, she also has it streaming live right now. So you're being streamed in different directions, lots of different people, all of our followings. And I couldn't be happier to have had you as a guest. Please don't go away. Stay. I want to talk to you again backstage. But this has been very enlightening for me. I'm glad I can play it back and continue to listen because you dropped some amazing, amazing, just total wisdom. And I can tell you're genuinely this is the space. This is your purpose. You're in your purpose, and you're going to heal a lot of people just because of who God made you to be. So I'm so excited to know you, and thank you again for our listeners. Please follow Eternity Echo James. Read her, get her books. Check her out in person if you're local. If you're not, give her some love. Go to her site, to her Instagram, wherever you find her, and show her some love. This has been a really really good time.
Thank
If
you
there's
so much for
anything else,
having me. No, thank you for having me. It's been a pleasure. I created a Patreon as well. It's also in my link tree. So if you subscribe to
okay.
there, I'm in the process of creating an online. I want to create an online support group for neurodivergent people because we need it. So that's my next project.
Okay.
So,
Okay.
thank
Well, we'll
you.
be there with you to anything that you're rolling out. Please introduce it. I know I heard you say you're neurodivergent, and I feel like that's another area that we could talk about. There's so much we could talk about, but you'll be back. You'll be
Yes.
back for sure.
Thank you for
Right?
having me. It's been a pleasure.
Uh, You are so welcome. I'm so excited. Just hang in there, and I'll be right back with you in just a moment. Thank you, everyone who took the time to listen now or who will listen as a replay. Thank you for joining us. Appreciate it.
Thank you. Remember, your story is your power.
That's right.